Alright guys, let's talk about Dolls from 1987, which is a Charles Band production, directed by Stuart Gordon, who did Reanimator. And Dolls is one of those very nostalgic movies. Like, this is one of my, not my first horror movie experience, but it is one of those movies I watched right after I got into horror. And I've watched it so many times over the years. Love this movie. I think that this one is underrated, where I know people talk about it, but I really, really want to talk about it more because I really love Dolls. And starting out with Dolls, I think the opening credits sequence is really, really well done, where it's just like shows the title card and like the names and the production, and it shows every time it shows a different person, it'll show a doll's head, and all these dolls are creepy as hell, and it sets the mood immediately to how creepy this movie will be. It's very perfect in that regard. So those credits are just really amazing. I love those credits. And this is one of those horror movies where you've got all these horrible, unlikable characters, but those, like, a lot of these characters, their performances work very, very well, even though they're so unlikable and so horrible, and you would hate them, but you love to hate them. For me, at least the parents, I really do love to hate, because there's this character, Judy, who's a little girl, who looks like Mara Wilson, like from Matilda. She looks almost just like her, even though this movie predated Matilda. And it cracks me up that this little girl looks just like Matilda does. But Judy is the main character of the movie, this little girl who has these two horrible parents. She's got a dad who doesn't pay attention to her, who's abusive, and she's got a stepmother who's the same way. And the stepmother was or it was supposed to be like out of a true fairy tale, like Cinderella or Snow White's evil stepmother. Like, it literally is what they were going for, and it works very well in how horrible this character is, the stepmother of Judy. She's really great. And I really love that starting out, like, they get lost and they're trying to find like a place for shelter whenever they're training really hard, and Judy has this weird scene that is kind of out of nowhere, but I do enjoy, where like Judy has this little teddy bear she named Teddy, and it comes to life after she loses it, and it mauls and kills the two parents, and then you just realize it's a dream. And usually those dream sequences don't like usually bother me, but this one didn't really bother me. They usually bother me, but this one doesn't. And I really did enjoy that sequence because it was creepy as hell, with that giant ass bear that broke apart and was like like its stuffing broke apart and it's like a demon bear underneath. I thought that was really cool, even though it wasn't properly integrated. It's just like a random dream. Or not dream, it's like a random like hallucination that Judy has, trying to get her parents gone, because she's this 6 or 7 year old who's being abused and beaten. And you don't see it on screen, but they imply very easily that they do hurt her, and that really makes you hate these two parents as the main characters. So they come to this house where Guy Rolfe, who plays Gabriel, and his wife Hillary are these two doll makers that are really, really creepy and really likable at the same time. They're very cool in how creepy they are, and I really enjoy them. And I really love how Guy Rolfe is in this, because he was also Toulon in some of the Puppet Master movies, and this predated Puppet Master by like 5 years. Or not 5 years, 2 years. This predated Puppet Master by 2 years. So I thought that was really cool. And also you've got this other character named Ralph, who's this adult but has a childlike sense of wonder. And these two hitchhikers he picks up, they're these punk rock chicks that are kind of annoying, but they're unlikable, but not as enjoyable as the parents. They're not as enjoyable. They're unlikable, but they're more stupid and annoying than the parent characters are, because those are unlikable characters too. Now, this one, in terms of the deaths, I think that this one is awesome with the death scenes in this, where, like, there's a scene where this one of the punk rocker chicks gets, like, bashed into the wall, like, her head gets bashed in the wall. She doesn't die yet, but then Judy finds her and tries to put her hand out, and then the dolls, like, pull her back in, and kill her off screen. But that scene of her getting her head, like, bashed is really cool and really effective. And the stepmother, where she's in her room and like she just sees like rustling under the covers, and then it's all these dolls. under the covers, and it's really creepy. And then what the dolls start doing is stabbing her like in all these different places, sawing her foot and her leg, and like what she does is really stupid, but I think it's good, is where she jumps out the window, literally jumps over the dolls and out the window and kills herself. But she didn't really have a way out of it anyway, so I guess that's, to be fair, it's not super stupid, because she was against these dolls that like were going to kill her in some way. So she committed suicide instead. And the other rocker girl has this cool death where she finds the first rocker girl, the blonde, and she finds that she's just there turning into a dummy slowly, or turning into a doll slowly, because she's got a wax face, it's melting, her eyes keep falling out, and the other girl picks her eyes up, which is just like the poster with the eyes. And then I love how the second rocker chick dies by having this group of toy soldiers come up, and you know how they shoot their guns? They shoot their guns and it's real ammunition, I guess, and it like shoots her like 4 or 5 times and then kills her, which is so creative and such a cool death. I really enjoy that as well. Now we have one of my favorite scenes in a horror movie, where at the end of the movie, David, who is Judy's father, he gets one of the coolest scenes in any horror movie, because the end of the movie you realize that all of these dolls are, well, not all of them, but some of them are reanimated humans that Hillary and Gabriel believe to be horrible people, so they reanimate them into dolls to live their life as dolls and restart over and try to not be horrible in the next life, which is cool, but it's also horrible. Like, these characters might have changed, but you get this scene where David literally, like, you see, even though it should have shown more, but I mean, it was from 1987 and it was low budget, so I guess I understand. But David literally turns and morphs into a Mr. Punch, which is this doll with a giant ass smile with the jester hat that he killed previously, and they turn him into a doll, and he's the doll from now on forever. And I think that scene of him transforming is so effective and so awesome, even though it keeps cutting away from it because they had a lower budget. But really, really love that scene. It's fantastic. One of my favorite scenes in any horror movie. I think it's so cool and so effective and so surprising that you realize that that's what they've been doing with all these dolls. Some of them were people that were horrible. I think that's so creative and so cool. And I love how the movie at the end, like, is a very whimsical, like, magical fairy tale ending where, yeah, these people get turned into dolls, but then Ralph and Judy live because they were the ones that was a child and a child at heart, as Hillary said. And I really love the fact that they get off scot-free, and like Gabriel makes the whole explanation like, oh, your parents left and went to change names and moved to a different country and took the 2 girls with them, and it's so far-fetched, and Ralph even thinks it's far-fetched, but then he doesn't. He's scared because he sees, whenever Judy says goodbye to the Mr. Punch toy, which is now her father, it's said the father talks in the voice of the doll whenever the doll talks. So I thought that was so cool that they kind of realized that it was not a dream, as Gabriel kept telling them that they were dreaming the whole time, even though he's an adult, like, he would realize this. So I thought that was really funny. But it ends on a whimsical note where, like, they get off scot-free and everything is happy. Like, the horrible parents are gone, the 2 punk rock girls are gone, Ralph and Judy go back to the city where Judy goes back to meet her mom. And in the end line, like, Judy's saying, like, that her mom is very pretty. And apparently there was going to be a sequel in talks, but they never did, where Judy and Ralph do move back to where Judy's mom is, and then Judy's mom and Ralph get married, and then Judy finds that doll versions of Hillary and Gabriel are sent to her, which would be a really cool sequel. I wish that we would have gotten that, but we didn't, unfortunately. But I would have liked that. But like I said, the movie ends on a happy, whimsical note, and then it ends on kind of like kind of like a creepy note, because then you see all four of the people who are turned into dolls, the two punk rockers and the two parents, they're all turned into dolls. And then you see a family just pop up again, like after Judy and Ralph leave, like a family, their car breaks down close to the house, so they're gonna walk into the house and it'll happen again. And I thought that that was a cool way to end it. Like, it would just, it's a never-ending cycle. Like, these witches will bring back more people to have this thing happen, like turn them into dolls. I think that's really cool. But yeah, rewatching Dolls, this one just really, again, like, I really love it. I think it's just such a fun, nostalgic movie, and I really enjoy these characters. I really enjoy the kills. Even though not all of them are on screen, and I really just enjoy the atmosphere and the creepiness of it, and the performances are so good and so interesting, and I really think this is great. And honestly, I prefer this over Puppet Master. If I'm talking about a similar movie, Charles Band production with Guy Ralph as a puppet master, I guess you could say, in both movies, then it's this one definitely out of the two. But Dolls just really, I really enjoyed on a rewatch. So that's my review. Tell me down below what you think of Dolls, and thank you guys so much for watching.